No.
This is the time for all of us really to step up to help build wealth in our communities, across the city and the neighborhoods. Do you know that Black New Yorkers make up 22% of the population, but only 2% of the business owners? We're going to change that. Bnyc is a groundbreaking initiative that will increase Black-owned businesses through money, mentorship, and marketing. Join us and get involved at nyc.gov/BNYC.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the greatest city in the world, New York City. My name is Norville, Barrington. I want to welcome you to Entrepreneurial Mondays.
Middle of the country, but
present.
It's the podcast dedicated.
Get out the way. Good. Thank you so much, everyone. We want to thank you so much for your time today as we present Entrepreneurial Mondays presented by National Black MBA Metro New York Chapter and bccelerator Advancing Black Entrepreneurship. This is Black History Month, so happy Black History Month. Where every day is Black History Month, and we want to make sure we celebrate not only the greatness of our past, but the greatness of who we are today, and also how we're going to propel ourselves to the future. This particular conversation today is our winter town hall with Black Entrepreneur NYC, and we have a wonderful panel discussion here where we're going to discuss many things that are serving the Black community, specifically as it relates to entrepreneurship and Black History Month. Special thanks to Zoe Blackwood and Latoya Niles, the co-directors of our business development team at the Metro New York chapter of National Black MBA. And without further ado, I want to introduce our chapter of the Metro New York chapter of the National Black MBA, Andrew Hamilton, for remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first day of Black History Month. It is not any coincidence that we're starting with entrepreneurship. Freedom of commerce, freedom of mind, but freedom of choices is what we value. And we want to make sure that you and I and we, in our progression in this coming year, really give you opportunities for you to be your best self in entrepreneurial space. And that's why we partner with the New York City, Commissioner Doris and Mr. Kenneth Ebie who will continue this dialogue of what that means, partnering with us going forward. So without further ado, Norville and team, I'll allow you to start sharing insights and tips to be your best self in the entrepreneurial space. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. And it's very important that as we talk about Black History Month, we talk about the opportunities that we have as regard to entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the bedrock of not only a society, it's capitalist society, but it's a way to really transfer generational wealth. And we've seen in this particular time, this is a great time to be an entrepreneur, a great time to be a business owner. It's a great time to leverage the skills, abilities, and your professional experience in order for you to go into entrepreneurship. And for those of you who are business owners, it's also a good time for you to revamp, rethink, and propel yourself for opportunities going forward. And as we, as we're live on three different platforms, we want to give you the opportunity to use the chat feature and want to ask comments. Add the comments in the chat where we want you to let us know some of the questions that you have, and we're going to go to Q&A towards the end of this town hall where Commissioner Doris, Executive Director Kenneth, Ebie is going to answer some of your questions live. So please feel free. This is an opportunity for you to engage with this great initiative. So without further ado, I want to introduce our two guests. One of our guests is a dear friend, not only to our chapter, but for many of us in the community. Commissioner Doris was appointed, I believe, roughly in May as a new commissioner of the NYC Small Business Services division. And he also is part of the Small Business Equity Task Force for Racial Equality and Inclusion as well. Commissioner Doris is no visitor to city politics, and not only city politics, but government agencies, as he's had a extensive career in many different agencies. Most recently, he served as the senior advisor and director of MWE certification, MWE enterprises, where under his leadership, he doubled certifications to more than close to 10,000 firms, utilizing opportunities that are awarded about $14.6 billion to MWBE enterprises. That is so important, because when we talk about opportunity, you talk about laying the groundwork. Because of his work, it has led to efforts in securing about $41 million in investments from Tosbury banks, and also low interest opportunities. So this way, a number of small businesses can enter entrepreneurship and manage their business without having the burden of debt upon them. He's also very influential in city, state politics as it relates to the MWB certification. Prior to this, he also served as a chief diversity officer for the governor's Office of Storm Recovery, where he oversaw about roughly $4.4 billion, which is allocated by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, which is HUD. He also has utilized many opportunities as it relates to businesses on the federal level as well. He's a strong advocate of diversity and civil rights. He's also an entrepreneur as well. So when you talk about opportunities and you talk about someone understanding the importance of entrepreneurship, Commissioner Doris, before coming into his position, was an entrepreneur and was MWE certified, and which is so important. So important, because when you talk about opportunities, he has walked the shoes that you are walking into. He's looking at it from your lens as well. He, again, many different accolades, including being honored 40 under 40 by the the Network Journal magazine, National Minority Business Council, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. His career goes from Keyspan to LI, Power Authority, Public Service Enterprise Group of LI as well. He's also a guest lecturer at many universities such as Columbia, NYU, Medgar Evers. He's also a graduate of Oral Roberts University. He also received a Master of Divinity from Oral Roberts University, and is an alum of Stony Brook University, where he received the Bachelor of Arts in Public Policy Analyst, and he also received a Master of Public Arts and Public Policy Analyst, and also a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science as well. I just want to just honor and just thank the man who has brought this opportunities for you and I. Commissioner Doris, want to welcome him to the screen here. Good morning, Commissioner Doris.
Well, good morning. Wow, what a very illustrious reading there. But thank you for those kind words. I appreciate it, Norville. It's good to be on with you and Andrew as well. Thank you.
And thank you. And again, while it is Black History Month, we honor our present as well. So we want to thank you for the services in advance and everything that you're going to do for the city and the great people in of this region as well. And most recently, you announced a new appointee, which is the executive director of and the chief development officer of Black Entrepreneur NYC, who I had an honor to meet. Andrew and I had an honor to meet about a month ago or so. And Kenneth Ebie is working to advance Black entrepreneurship and increase the number of Black-owned businesses in New York. In his role, he's going to be focusing on supporting growth and fundraising development opportunities, and also look at opportunities where it comes to impacts to COVID as regards to their relief in this pandemic. As an entrepreneur himself, he also founded Ebie Strategies, which is a boutique impact, social impact firm that focuses on private affairs, corporate nonprofit, and works with many investors as relates to capital and social impact. He is well versed in politics in terms of having an illustrious career in law, politics, and city state government. He brings a track record of experience that goes all the way back to him being director of the Rabbi Group, which is a national communications firm. He also served as the deputy counsel of and director of external affairs for the mayor's office of media and management as well. He works throughout the city to make sure that he understands the needs. And since his arrival in August, he's been working the ground to understand not only the needs of the current business owners, but also opportunities and understanding the future entrepreneurs that are coming forth. One thing I would say about Kenneth, and in a short time, while his work is important, he has a heart and a passion. He was also the former campaign manager for the late great Brooklyn District Attorney Ken Thompson, and successfully ran his campaign, which says a lot. He holds a BA from Harvard College and also a JD from the Yale Law School. So without further ado, I want to also welcome Ken Ebie to the stage. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, brother. Happy Black History Month, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to your wonderful group. This is a real honor.
Good. So, we're going to keep the conversation flowing. And for those of you who are on various platforms, let us know your questions. We're going to be able to read off some of the questions as we go through this conversation. So let's start here. So I'll start with you, Commissioner Doris. So, you're the senior advisor, MDB certification, enterprises, and looked at how that was able to transform in a short period of time. But now, as the commissioner of small business services, how has your agency adjusted throughout this time in 2020? Because you just started the position roughly less than a year ago.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Norville. Look, what we understand that the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic really is a health crisis that triggered the economic crisis, in particular at the level that we see it now, right? So the road to recovery has not been easy, but it's certainly been an honor to serve our small businesses in the city during this dynamic time. And, more than any other time in the history of our city, it's a critical time for us to give the support that we've given to our small businesses. So one of the things that we wanted to do was, number one, communication. We have to communicate effectively, frequently around all the changes that are happening in this fluid environment. So that means, created resources for small businesses and moved our business solution centers and Workforce One centers, because we also manage the workforce centers of the city so that business owners and job seekers really can get access to us and to those resources, even in a remote environment. We have set up webinars and did some, fantastic work training and giving information and, and guidance to small businesses. 48,000 of them have already participated in those programs. And look, we've been on the front lines as well, preparing to implement the types of necessary resources that our business needs. So one of the things we did, we had to create a hotline. How do we get in contact with you during a pandemic where we can't knock on your door and walk into an office? There's a hotline. 53,000 plus businesses already reached out to us. We've helped them. We've also understand the need for PPE at this time. As you can imagine, earlier on, there was a shortage of PPE, which caused a real panic, not only for the health crisis, but an economic crisis, because, folks are not able to operate their businesses safely. So we connected with our community partners and distributed 7.5 million face coverings and created also a PPE marketplace where folks can actually go and get these supplies. And you look, all the types of things we've done with virtual compliance consultations. One of the most important things to top that off is getting small businesses the financial support they need at this time. And so we've helped over 5,000 businesses and $125 million in local, state, and federal philanthropic funding. And so, more than ever right now, small businesses need the support. We've changed the way that we do business. We've moved 100% remote. We've focused on giving the resources that small businesses need, starting with the education and the information and the compliance consultations that they need in order to set their business up right, and in order for them to really have a chance to come out of this crisis stronger than they have before.
So we also see in this time that, there's the needs of the brick and mortars, and then there's needs of the e-commerce businesses. So how is the city managing the two different strategies when, some of them integrate, but then some of them don't necessarily integrate because of the foundation of the business? So can you touch more about that?
Absolutely. Look, we have a variety of resources available to our brick and mortar businesses. We have a whole division, the neighborhood development division that works to revitalize commercial corridors across the city. Our business improvement districts, or what we call BIDs, we partner with them to support 100,000 brick and mortar businesses and all the jobs that come with them. So, that's a critical part of the work that we do here. And we help those businesses with, for instance, our commercial lease assistance program. It's a program that provides free legal services, pro bono legal advice to help you negotiate with your landlord. That's very important. Also, our small business advocates also help our brick and mortar businesses understand the city rules and requirements that are out there right now. Also, our compliance consultations went totally virtual to help those businesses. Small business mentor program we just launched for existing storefront businesses, brick and mortar businesses, to help them through this unprecedented time. And of course, as you know, the city had the open storefronts program, which was now extended to September 2021. It was originally slated to close December 31st, but the mayor extended it to September 2021. And now food service establishment, our restaurants were able to utilize the frontage of their space, right, in order to prepackage foods and do some other creative things to help them survive during this time. So a lot we've done for our brick and mortar businesses there, but also our home-based businesses. We've launched a Fair Share NYC campaign. It's a targeted campaign to help connect small business owners to federal support and aid, including the PPP program, the EIDL program, that's daily webinars, training, all those things, connecting them to funders as well. And then our business solution centers, as mentioned, went 100% remote, but they also there to help connect small businesses, even the ones that are remote, to financial assistance and support. And look, generally, we're also helping with e-commerce, helping our small businesses set up a digital storefronts, through education, to learn them how to transition during this time. And also we've partnered with MasterCard in our Bnyc initiative, which you'll hear more about, to help entrepreneurs set up virtual storefronts and maximize online sales. So we're helping both our storefront actual businesses, brick and mortar business, also those who set up digitally to help them connect to resources, training, technical assistance, support, but also to the financial assistance that they need.
So when you look at, this is a lot of great information. So for the audience, where can they find some of these great nuggets, and not only in terms of like some of the details, but, some of these programs?
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, look, we've got our hotline, 888-SBS4-NYC. And then also you can always go to our website at nyc.gov/SBS. And under there, you'll have all of this information. And then also we'll try to, with some of our team members, put out in the chat, if I may, or when this airs and it's out live, we'll make sure we also put some links there to connect you to some of these resources. But our hotline is the easiest, and also our website.
And for everyone here, we are live. We are going to get that information out to you. So rest assured that we will definitely get this information out to you. So one thing that has been mentioned, and I would say this, there's been a lot of success for Black entrepreneurs in terms of speed to market, getting momentum. We talked about some of the great wins in MWBE in terms of certification, contracts, penetrating new markets, and then we see COVID-19, which has changed everything across the world. There are a lot of studies that show that honestly, Black businesses are twice as likely to close. They're 3 times as likely not to get funding. They're 3 times as likely to change businesses. So when you look at that, and this is also from a national perspective as well, because we don't live in a vacuum. But when we look at all these different factors, especially as it relates to COVID-19, what is the new state of entrepreneurship, the state of Black entrepreneurship right now, especially in New York City and the surrounding areas?
Well, look, this pandemic has demonstrated very clearly the need for targeted resources to address the unique challenges Black businesses face and the Black community face. Look, this is the present day reality. We know, as you mentioned, like you said, 3 times likely to be rejected from a bank for funding, twice likely to close during the pandemic. 40% Black businesses say their cash reserves won't get them through 2021. And so there's a lot of challenges there for our Black-owned businesses. We also understand, though, even in the midst of all of that, we also see that Black-owned firms are growing 4 times faster than white firms in New York City. We also see that Black women in particular are the fastest growing demographic of entrepreneurs in the United States, right? And so there is certainly a disconnect to the support that Black businesses are getting from the traditional resources and also their growth, right? And so that disconnect is so important for us to recognize. Look, we started out our report with existing data that we had a few years back, and we had 2% of the Black businesses making up 2% of the business community in New York City. Now, I think it's a little higher by 3.5%. But look, this is why we launched Bnyc, right? It's the first of its kind model in a major American city to help address the racial wealth gap by empowering Black entrepreneurs. My thesis in life when it comes to entrepreneurship and the racial wealth gap, that entrepreneurship is the key to addressing the racial wealth gap. I believe that that's why we're pushing the Bnyc program so hard, and also out here meeting with you and others to tell about these resources so we can improve the lives of our community through our businesses, our small businesses, the engine of our communities, the folks who hire from our communities, the folks who actually step out on a limb to say that I'm going to make every difference I can to reach my full potential. And that's why we're here. That's why Bnyc is there, because Black entrepreneurs, they're the fabric of our New York City economy. And look, we've got to support them.
And this is a perfect segue into Kenneth, Ebie, who's new executive director, the first executive director of not only this initiative. Absolutely. It's an honor to connect with you and for you to lead this effort that is not for the faint at heart. So for the audience here, can you let the audience know more about Bnyc and what the initiative is and how it's really addressing the needs of entrepreneurs and small business owners?
Absolutely. Well, thanks again, Norville, to you and to Andrew for having us on, and to all of your members who are listening. As you can see the passion the commissioner has for this work, and so I'm really I'm excited and honored to be leading this initiative for the Department of Small Business Services. Bnyc is very targeted, very focused. It's our aim is to address the lack of access to capital, to provide opportunities to create robust professional networks, and also to leverage contracting opportunities to enable businesses to scale. And so we're working to address these needs in particular for Black entrepreneurs in 3 ways. First, right now, given the context that we're all in, we are really focusing very hard on addressing the needs of struggling Black business owners during the pandemic, as the commissioner alluded to. So it's demonstrated a real need for targeted resources to address these unique challenges that are faced by the Black community. And so we really want to address, as I mentioned, the access to capital issue, provide equitable access to different products that will enable businesses to carry forward with operating expenses and continue to employ people in their family and their communities. We're looking to continue to build out infrastructure for people to meet one another, both what I refer to as horizontal networking, which is peer-to-peer learning from, sharpening fellow entrepreneurs and business owners, but also the vertical, which is connecting to opportunities for contracting and other business relationships. And then, as we mentioned, really through the city procurement process and other areas where you can obtain large contracts or get prepared to engage with large contracts, trying to enable Black business owners to be in a position to be able to compete for, to obtain, and then to outperform the terms of those contracts. So those are some very big areas. Now, in addition to that, we top line want to increase the number of Black-owned businesses in New York City. Black entrepreneurs Black people constitute 22% of our city's population. Yet the report that we issued back in August of 2020 indicated that we only own 2% of New York City businesses. There's a number which was released which says it's 3.5%, but that is still a paltry number. And so we really are focused on increasing the number of Black-owned businesses in New York City with a particular focus on those high growth industries. And that leads to the third point, which is we really want to place entrepreneurs in the Black community and Black businesses in the room where it happens. So we want to make sure that we are equipping Black entrepreneurs to fully engage in these high growth and high priority industries, such as technology, healthcare, climate sustainability, et cetera. And this, we believe, will allow Black businesses, Black entrepreneurs to be agents of influence in the economy, not just of today, but for many years to come.
So when we look at this pandemic, we've seen a lot of changes in terms of markets. When you look at the stock market, when you look at Fortune 100 companies that have been out of business, have been gone bankrupt, new opportunities. What are some of the untapped markets that traditionally we don't necessarily see Black entrepreneurs play in? And where is BNYC playing in this space?
Well, again, Norville, we want to address those high growth and high priority industries. And we're looking at areas where we see very small numbers of Black founders, Black business owners, and where there's tremendous growth. And thinking about how we can prepare people who are entrepreneurial minded to take advantage of those growth opportunities. So, for example, I mentioned technology. The numbers show that only 1% of venture-backed tech founders are Black. That was a piece of information that came out of our research in the report in August 2020. In the healthcare industry, I need not speak about the need to have continued engagement and growth in this super important industry. We're seeing it, and it's going to be important for many years to come. Only 5% of healthcare firms are Black owned. As we're thinking about environmental sustainability and climate control, we look at the landscape, and just 0.1% of clean energy firms are Black owned. So we think we have an opportunity to not only inform entrepreneurs about these industries, but to really provide the connection between the desire and between the growth that is in those industries. One more, which we've spoken about, but there's tremendous growth potential. New York State, as we know, as a result of the health crisis, which resulted in the economic crisis, as the commissioner mentioned, is facing some severe budget challenges. And so anyone who's read the news knows that the state is likely to legalize recreational marijuana this budget season. And the numbers indicate it could generate over $2 billion in annual sales, create tens of thousands of jobs, and really kind of spearhead a number of ancillary industries. And so we don't want to be late to that particular party either. And so thinking about these industries that are likely poised to grow, and how do we build those opportunities for Black entrepreneurs to really get in on the ground level and to build what we are seeing as the largest opportunity to develop intergenerational wealth for the community. And
a year back, I'd say a couple months back, bccelerator and the Metro New York chapter of the National Black MBA, we had a Entrepreneur Accelerator Summit where we touched on some of the things that in terms of opportunities. We had many guest speakers here, and there's some of that you touched on that we peeled back from that event. And I want to bring in Commissioner Doris, because I think it's going to be very important. When we talk about how this pandemic is disproportionately affecting Black entrepreneurs, that number is even more and affects women even more than we can even think about. And I'm specifically talking about Black entrepreneur women, Black women who have been doing phenomenal in corporate America and now bringing those great abilities and their success levels into the entrepreneurship and small business space. So as we talk about our Black queens, and I'm going to refer to them as queens, our queens, that we must protect, can you just talk about how this pandemic, from your eyes, how it's affecting, Black women, and more importantly, what are we doing to address the needs here in terms of access, in terms of, everything from beginning to end? Can you just touch on that? Because I think it's going to be very, very important as we move forward.
Man, you have hit it on the nail. Look, just quickly, I always think about my mom before. Anytime I think about Black women and entrepreneurs, she was an entrepreneur, by necessity. Because like many Black women, great skills, great opportunity to reach customers, know how to do that, but still yet not the systems were not there to empower her enough, even though she was an entrepreneur, to really advance that business to a point that that's something she could have done on a full-time basis. Many Black women around the country we see are entrepreneurs by necessity, not having an opportunity at their jobs to advance, and also some getting some really great corporate experience, as you mentioned, and bringing it to bear for themselves, and then try to step out on their own to actually engage in commerce. But again, to be hit with the fact that only 0.02% of venture capitalist dollars are actually going to Black women firms. That means that even though they're the fastest growing businesses in America, and they have the ingenuity and the skill set and so on to employ folks and to advance great ideas on big platforms, they're still yet being stopped from really meeting their full potential. This is a problem. This is a problem across the United States, but also across the city. And we are here to address those disparities, particularly for Black women who are doing a tremendous amount of work to really advance entrepreneurship within our community, have the skill set to do that. And we've got to prepare the city, our financial institutions, and others to think about this differently. Ken will take you a little bit deeper into our BNYC programs and how we're going to do that. But one of the things that we have to think about is creating the BNYC Accelerator program that we have, really to help cultivate businesses for the economy tomorrow, as we talked about. Also developing key strategic partnerships in the financial sector to support Black women entrepreneurs, which we are doing, and then offering operational support to launch and scale your business. So, I mean, these three things, I think, is helping us to get there, but the need is great. Ken, you want to talk a little bit about some of the additional resources we have?
Absolutely, Commissioner. And I want to start with touching on what the Commissioner mentioned, which is really, I think, going to be one of the most important legacy projects of BNYC and SBS during this era and this administration, and that is the creation of the BNYC Accelerator. We are partnered with the Brooklyn Navy Yard, and we've received some funding from the Young Men's Initiative to build out this accelerator on the Brooklyn Navy Yard campus, which would really be focused on helping to cultivate businesses that are in these industries that are high growth in the technology space, and with a specific focus on helping to bring in and then develop Black founders so they can establish businesses, bring those businesses, those ideas to market, if you will, and obtain positions so that they can actually get some investment to scale those businesses so that they can really have an impact on a broader scale in our society. And so that's a really important element in a partnership that was established relatively early on. That's likely going to break ground in 2022, but we are in the process of reviewing proposals and will likely even roll out programming to address these specific issues before the brick and mortar building stands up. Another program which we have been working on is providing access to professional consulting services. So through a partnership with Ernst & Young, we will be providing 2,000 hours of one-on-one consulting, top flight, A+ consulting services from one of the top firms in the world. They're going to provide these hours from some of their professionals. They're also going to curate and put forth a resource hub that BNYC members of the BNYC community, members of the New York City community will have access to. And they're also going to put together some online learning sessions which will again be prepared by and featuring some of these world-class business experts at Ernst & Young. In addition to that, we're going to be through a partnership with Goldman Sachs and the 10,000 Small Businesses Initiative, informing Black entrepreneurs through affordable financing products and also some business education opportunities. And the commissioner also mentioned one of our key inaugural corporate partnerships with MasterCard. And so really important, particularly in this moment, which we do not see changing after we have a different health situation on the vaccine front. Businesses are moving online, and they have been, and those that have been able to pivot have been able to establish a robust presence online. So with MasterCard and leveraging their Digital Doors curriculum, we're helping to provide entrepreneurs to set up virtual storefronts so that they can maximize their online sales. The commissioner touched on something very important, and this is really at the heart of what we're doing at Bnyc. I think central to his leadership at the Department of Small Business Services, but it's really at the core of what we're doing at Bnyc, which is equity of opportunity for women and Black women in particular through Bnyc. Tremendous area of focus for us. And so one of our benefits, one of our gifts is that we have a 15-member cabinet, which is composed of some of the leading entrepreneurs, business leaders in our community who provide us with advice and relationships, connections, resources when needed to help us carry out our mission. One of our cabinet members, Regina Gwynn, is the co-founder of Black Women Talk Tech. And they issued a report which has provided us with a lot of guidance as we're thinking about our programming and looking at the potential that is untapped in Black women. And we all know this. we have all known this. The commissioner speaks about his mother. And I can think about stories that I learned about my grandmother, who didn't have a grade school education and had a very, very sharp business savvy sense. And so we know that in this current moment, the report shows that Black women founders are highly educated. Over 46% of Black women founders have a professional degree. So we're talking master's or a JD or an MD or PhD. And 39% of them have a bachelor's degree, right? We also know, given the context of this particular survey that Black Women Talk Tech did, that a large number of Black women founders had seen traction in their businesses in the prior 6 months prior to the survey date. So, Black women have demonstrated the ability to pivot, the ability to really be resourceful, even in these difficult times. So when you're looking at it from the perspective of an investor, you can't think about a higher percentage bet than going with Black women. 37% of Black women tech founders are building businesses in these high growth industries that we mentioned for startups. And yet, we have the unfortunate reality that they are not receiving funding. They are receiving a very, very small percentage of venture capital funding. We need to figure out ways to make connections to resolve that issue. And 40% of survey respondents from this particular report note that they have paying customers. And this is, again, despite the fact that they're not getting seed funding. And that's something which you can only imagine if we are able to create that programmatic solution to that particular gap, what dramatic success we're going to see coming out of the Black community that is led by Black women, getting the support that they have needed and deserved for so long and have earned. So we see tremendous potential, and we're going to need to direct that increased investment into Black women founders.
And special thanks to Meg D. Austin, Deputy Commissioner Donachelle Gross, who has been a huge advocate for not only education and training, but also the contributions to our members in our network. I couldn't go on without, honoring them on this Black History Month and the great work and all the great women who are doing great Black women who are doing wonderful things within the city agency and many city agencies. And I want to touch on something here before, and I know we're about to end shortly, but let's talk about some opportunities right now. So when we look at opportunities, what opportunities can Black entrepreneurs take advantage of right now? Hit the ground running. We've heard this conversation. I'm motivated. It's Black History Month. I know that I have needs. What can I do right now? Where can they go? Let's talk. Let's move the conversation forward that way.
Yeah, I'll just jump in. I mean, the first thing is if you are a Black entrepreneur in the city of New York looking for some resources, I think you gotta just reach out to us. You go on our website, you'll find the information there for BNYC. But also our business solution centers can help you not only with your business plan, understanding the business and market that you're in, giving you some opportunities to get additional resources and to helping you think through, your entrepreneurship process. We also, again, as I mentioned earlier, look, we connect you to actual money, right? Financial assistance. That's very, very important. We can do that. And the other thing we have right now for Black businesses, if you are a business with a loan from a CDFI or a community development financial institution, if you have a loan from them, we're currently doing an interest rate reduction grant program, meaning we're helping you reduce your debt right now. So you can contact us. We will help you figure out if you are a part of that program with the various CDFIs that we're working with. Then again, the BNYC Mentor Program, we just launched this, and mentoring sessions are starting on January 14th, and certainly Ken will talk some more about it. But look, we've launched this program to help also connect these businesses to those horizontal connections he talked about, to really focus on specific subjects, specific areas, specific industries to help you one-on-one to guide you through the process right now. We also launched the MWBE Mentors Program for peer-to-peer mentorship for minority and women-owned businesses in the city. The MWBE program also is available to you. Throughout the pandemic, over $750 million went to MWBEs in the city to service our pandemic needs. So that program continues to be available to you. The mayor has set a $25 billion goal for the MWBE program by 2025. So that is continuing to go forward. As Norville mentioned, Maggie Austin is now the senior advisor and director of that program and carrying it on, doing amazing work. And of course, Donna Shaw Gross at the city, at SBS, at our agency, who is carrying the work for us there on the MWBE Mentor Program. And so, look, we also have launched the Employee Ownership Program. We understand that, I think upwards of 70% of those who are seeking to close their business do not have a succession plan. And of that, we have about 70% to 80%, depending on the industry, of workers who are minority or women. And so that's a great opportunity for us to think about different ownership mechanisms where the employer can sell their business to their employees, again, creating more ownership structure and profit sharing, et cetera. And then last thing I'll say is, look, things that, again, very practical things that you need right now, you can get through our hotline, SBS hotline or our website. You can get that information, or our weekly webinars on our Fair Share campaign with the PPP program, the federal stimulus program. All these things are available to you right now.
Now, again, for those of you who are looking on the screen here, please see the information below in the banner. We want you to capitalize on some of these opportunities. And now there's an elephant in the room here, and it's also regarding myths and how to utilize city services and what that really means. Kenneth, what have you seen in your time here? And Commissioner Doris, you could definitely add on to that. But what are some common myths that we see that we just need to debunk right now?
Well, absolutely. I think that one myth, which I can say, having joined Commissioner Doris's team and seeing the volume of work that's being done, there's a common myth that there is no support out there for small business owners. And I can tell you that is categorically false. The commissioner can speak to this extensively, but the whole agency is dedicated to building stronger businesses. So this is one which I think people just need to know that the Department of Small Business Services is there, that Commissioner Doris is leading this agency, and that there is tremendous support that can be directed to them, and they just need to be able to reach out and access it. I have the second one is that you can get some support, but there's got to be some sort of a hidden fee or a cost somewhere, and I'm not sure that I can afford that. And so that's another thing that is a myth. These resources, these services that are provided by the Department of Small Business Services and through Bnyc, there's no cost associated with these services. Absolutely. So all New Yorkers can access these services.
And for many of our members who are on different platforms here, the information that we have for Bnyc and our partnership with the NYC Small Business Services, we will help your local towns in terms of being able to connect with your local opportunities as well. So some of the things that you see in New York, this team here has worked with many different agencies and many different across the country. So we'll definitely make sure that where you're located and how you can get opportunities in your local area, we will go ahead and get that out to you. In addition to that, we will have the bccelerator and Metro New York Chapter National Black MBA. We will have Entrepreneurial Mondays focused specifically on small business services, which means that you'll be able to get relative information and appointments that we'll make sure that we will leverage from our partnership with the city, with Bnyc, and also other individuals that will help get you those resources needed. And we'll dedicate Mondays only for that. So more information to come on that. But again, going back to some of the myths, Commissioner Doris, I just want to make sure constant time. What are some things that you have seen that we want to make sure we debunk?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think Ken had touched on the two of the big ones, but just one more I'll add. Look, third, your personal information may be used by government for purposes that you have not consented, right? So a lot of folks are concerned about that. And I think in this environment, we are very much aware of that. So just to let everybody know, information provided to us is used for communication with our constituents, and to the extent possible to tailor our programmatic services for you, right? And so it is not something we share out with the public. Your information is certainly held at very close guard here at the city. We want to make sure that is also very, very important, that folks know that we do not, go about, sharing information for purposes that you did not intend to share.
And before we get to some Q&A, what's some new news that we should look forward to? We know that there's a stimulus that looks like it's going to be passed. We don't know if that's going to happen, how it's going to impact the city, whether it's this financial fiscal year or even next year, July. We also know that from a opportunity standpoint, there are a lot of emerging industries. I know we talked about the accelerator program work that we'll be collaborating on. What are some things that we should look out for aspiring entrepreneurs and Black business owners, and especially when it relates to Bnyc?
Ken, you want to take this?
Yeah, well, I can talk specifically to Bnyc. The commissioner is talking with all of the policy leaders at federal, state, local level. Probably speak with more information on PPP and other matters. But with respect to Bnyc, I can tell you, the head of our agency is an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. You can expect a very responsive and a very nimble organization. This is really an entrepreneurial enterprise through Bnyc. So what you know and what you should know is that we plan to be very connected to Black entrepreneurs and to the experience. And we plan to have very strong relationships continued through the organizations such as the National Black MBA Association that serve them. With respect to this month, this being the first day of Black History Month, we have a very robust agenda. Tomorrow, we're going to be hosting the launch event for our Bnyc Mentors and Small Business Mentors programs. It's going to feature a fireside chat and some breakout sessions on topics such as how you can grow your client base, access funding for your business, how to develop partnerships, how to build your brand. We are still accepting registrations, so please go to nyc.gov NYC.gov/SBS, or you can go to NYC.gov/BNYC and find out information on that and register for this event tomorrow. It's going to be a great one. We're going to be highlighting throughout the month Black business success stories on social media. In fact, I was inspired by a story I heard out of California about a restaurant that had been featured on a national news story, and that had been serving the community and providing meals to people who were in need, even though they are not really getting the revenue that they had pre-COVID. And some individuals heard about it across the country, and before you know it, donations started streaming in, and people started saying, "Hey, here's $100. You spend this on 4 square meals for somebody in need." This is the type of campaign, the type of awareness that we want to bring to Black businesses that are doing well in the community and that are supporting the community. And so we plan to have a very an extensive opportunity to highlight those success stories. And you should save the date as well. On the 25th of February, we are going to be having BNYC Black History Month Roundtable. So we're going to be putting some information out about that very soon, but please keep your eyes on our website for that. That should be a really good program. And then we're going to roll out some programming in conjunction with our accelerator program through the Brooklyn Navy Yard prior to that breaking ground. So that will be something that will be a source of excitement in the coming weeks and months. So there's a lot in store. Again, go to NYC.gov/BENYC to get more information.
And again, we'll for our audience here, we will have the information out to make sure we get that email out to you. And a number of events that are going to be highlighted here, we'll make sure that we get that out. So this way you have an opportunity to engage and, more importantly, apply the things that you learn to your business. So one thing we'll say here is that as a chapter and as bccelerator, we are not aspirational. We are motivated by action. We want action. We want people to take action. We've been past the point of being motivated, and these programs are about action. So for those of you who are listening, we want you to take action. So please reach out to us. We'll make sure you get the resources needed, but you have to do the work as well. This information is not only out here, but the team is working the pavement. And even now, even while it's snowing in New York, there are people out there advocating for you to make sure you get the resources you need, but you have to do the work. So we're going to make sure that we hold hands and make sure we pull each other up to ensure the work is being done. So one question here regarding nonprofit organizations, your thoughts and resources regarding to work with nonprofits as it relates to grants and things of that nature in terms of resources, Commissioner Doris.
Yeah, look, so we typically, support, businesses, but our for instance, the Fair Share campaign, the PPP program, et cetera, they also work with nonprofits as well. That's also eligible. So we're helping wherever we can. If someone calls us to say we need support there, we never leave someone hanging. So we try to navigate and take them to the resources across the city that are there to support our nonprofit organizations, even like our culturals as well, cultural institutions. We have an agency that cultural affairs that deals with that, and others, again, who are out there doing great work, be it in education. Our Department of Education has again connected them to those resources. So we are. I would say that we are sort of like at the middle of the wheel, and we're sort of the connecting, our small businesses, nonprofit sector, others, as much as we can to where the resources are.
And regarding, and from the question here, and regarding base of business, so there are a lot of businesses who are not necessarily based in New York, but operate in New York as well. Can you touch on, very briefly, on opportunities for people or businesses that are currently operating in other locations, but now want to bring in headquarters into New York or divisions into New York, and how BNYC and also Small Business Services is managing that process in terms of qualification, briefly?
Yeah, sure. So our MWBE program, if you are a minority and or a woman operating within counties right outside of New York City, such as Suffolk, Nassau, 5 counties over in Jersey, and a few upstate. When you think about, the ecosystem, the economic ecosystem that we have, certainly you're eligible if you have a presence in the city, legitimate presence in the city, to apply for our program and work with us. We're also always recruiting businesses to New York City. We're helping those who are here. But look, if you're a strong business you want to set up here in the city, we're here to help you. We work with our Economic Development Corporation, our EDC partners, to make sure that there's opportunities for you. If you need space or you need to be able to set your business up in the city, we're here to help as well.
And for those of you who are on this line here, this is one of many town halls and many opportunities we're going to be engaging with Bnyc and, of course, small business services as well. We know that both of you have another event. Of course, you're celebrating Black History Month. So let me do this. For those of you who have questions, we will make sure the questions are being answered. Please, we will contact you and we will have that follow up. But I want to leave this time to give you closing remarks, both Commissioner Doris, and we go to Kenneth, and then we'll take it further. Go ahead, Commissioner Doris.
Well, look, Norville, thank you. Andrew, thank you so much for having us on. I think this has been a great experience. Look, it's Black History Month. We know that Black people help build this nation and should also partake in its prosperity. That's always been the key. We know that the March on Washington, Martin Luther King led, was for jobs and justice. And so we want to make sure that there's an economic message to everything that we do around equality and equity. And so we're here to support you with the Bnyc program, with all the small business services programs, our grants, our loans, all our programs that we have, both financially, but also how do you start a business, grow a business, develop your business, scale your business. That's why we're here to support you as an entrepreneur. So thank you so much for having us on.
Thank you so much, Kenneth.
I think the commissioner said it best. I just have 2 things that I close with. I think in terms of our culture, as we celebrate Black History Month, there are 2 adages that I have led my life by. I know that the commissioners led SBS with this understanding, and I think that it's important just to say it. There's an old African adage that says, if you want to run fast, you run alone. If you want to run far, run together. And so through our work at SBS and at NYC, we are really trying to establish the connections to different industries, different sectors that will provide resources for Black entrepreneurs and our business owners. And we're also focused on understanding that if nobody else is involved in your dream as an entrepreneur, then you're not dreaming enough. Get us involved in your dream and be a part of our team at Bnyc.
So on behalf of our chapter and entire audience, we want to thank you so much. We know you have to go. So Executive Director Kenneth Ebie, thank you so much. Commissioner Jonnel, Doris, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to continue to work with you and also get the information out to all of our networks and members as well. So thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you for the work that you are doing. Thank you so much.
Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month.
Take care. Thank you.
So we want to thank Executive Director Kenneth Ebie and Jonnel Doris for their not only their thoughts but also the strategies and work that have come, over the last year. I want to bring in Andrew Hamilton, our chapter president. Andrew, there's so much to say. I'm going to hand over to you. A lot of thoughts here, but I want to give you the floor here to talk about some of the things that you've heard and what we do going forward, especially Entrepreneurial Mondays. This is Black History Month. What are some of your thoughts here?
Well, again, thank those 2 gentlemen sharing their time, and I'll surmise like this: my go-to statement. We are here to inform, inspire, and invest. I think that these gentlemen have shown, provide you information for you to be successful. It's up to us and you to inspire you to be great. And then we need to put tools in front of you in order to invest either your time, talent, or treasure. And we here at this organization are but from an action point of view, giving you opportunities for you to invest. I think the saying is say less, do more, and our organization is doing more. And it's a lot of information about what can be done, but it's up to us to action that. Many of us want to do well, but how many of us are willing to do well? I'll leave it at that. And it is Black History Month, the first day, and it is Entrepreneurial Mondays, and it is New York Black MBA. So, Norville, I don't think any more than that. I think that we have a great week ahead. I think we have do have an event on February 3rd, Elevating Your Career. That's on the website as far as RSVP. And then on February 4th, we have a town hall discussion about COVID-19. And then right now we have the virtual career fair happening February 25th. There's a lot in between we're working on. We just can't announce it yet, but just stay with us. It's a lot. It's only 28 days in the month of February, but we're trying to do 40 events in 28 days. I don't know if it's impossible or not, but we'll figure it out. So thank you.
And for those of you, of course, members in network, what we do in Black History Month echoes throughout the whole entire year. The amount of events, the 100+ virtual events that we've had, the resources, the private events that we have for you, making sure you have access. This month is so important because this is our month. Well, and every month is our month, but we want to make sure that we take advantage of this opportunity. So please, for those of you who've heard Andrew, please go to our website, www.nyblackmba.org, where you can get more information about our listings. Also, if you check our link tree, you'll get that information as well in terms of how to, and I'll put it up on the screen here. So this way you can register for some of the events, which is going to be very, very, very important that you take advantage of this opportunity. And of course, there's a lot of events in between that we just can't announce yet, but you will get notification for those of you who are members to get access to those events. Next week on Entrepreneurial Mondays, we're going to continue with the conversation regarding access. We're going to talk to the CEO of Pay By, which we're going to talk about applying for not only for the PPP, but also access to the PPP. So applying is one thing, but actually getting access to applying is another thing. So we're going to walk you through the steps and actually the platform we're going to use in order to make sure you have access to the PPP. Also, we'll also talk about differences between then in terms of the first round and of course this round here. So this is still a perfect time and how relationships are so important. Again, thank you so much for this time. Again, Entrepreneurial Mondays, we're back. We look forward to connecting with you on behalf of our chapter president, Andrew Hamilton, our co-director, Zoe Blackwood, Latoya Niles, our executive board. My name is Norville Barrington, VP of Communications, and also the founder and managing partner of bccelerator, Advancing Black Entrepreneurship. I want to thank you so much for this opportunity. And also look forward to seeing you next week. And also for the events this week, please register before RSVPs are closed. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Happy Black History Month. Enjoy this month and let's celebrate our excellence. Thank you so much.